Every December, millions gather around their screens for a peculiar ritual, watching the same movie on repeat for 24 hours straight. A Christmas Story wasn't a box office smash when it arrived, yet somehow it became the holiday film that defines an entire generation's nostalgia. But behind Ralphie's quest for that Red Ryder BB gun lies a production filled with fake snow made from groceries, a pregnant teacher hiding in plain sight, and a director who funded his Christmas dream with money from one of the raunchiest comedies of the decade. What you're about to discover goes far beyond the leg lamp and frozen tongues. These are the secrets that turned a modest film into a cultural phenomenon, and some of them will completely change how you watch it. Number 1. Indiana? No, it's mostly Canada. The Parker family's cozy Midwestern home feels authentically Indiana, but the truth reveals a very different geography. Most of the film was actually shot in Toronto and Cleveland, with Canadian streets standing in for small-town America. Production crews worked overtime to hide Toronto streetcars and disguise distinctly Canadian architecture that didn't match the 1940s Indiana setting. The decision came down to money and weather. Tax incentives made filming across the border financially attractive, and the production team hoped Canada's colder climate would deliver picture-perfect snow. Ironically, Mother Nature had other plans, leaving them scrambling for alternatives through most of the shoot. Only near the final days of production did a real blizzard finally arrive, giving them authentic winter footage. By then, they'd already created their own winter wonderland through considerably less natural means. Number 2. The snow was mashed potatoes. That magical blanket of white covering the streets didn't fall from the sky. The production team created their winter wonderland using potato flakes, foam, and soap to simulate freshly fallen snow. These unlikely ingredients were spread across Toronto and Cleveland locations, transforming ordinary streets into a convincing 1940s Christmas scene. The fake snow presented its own challenges. It had to look authentic on camera while being safe for actors to walk through during multiple takes. The art department mixed different materials to achieve the right texture and appearance, experimenting until they found combinations that photographed well under various lighting conditions. When that lucky blizzard finally hit during the last days of filming, it provided real snow for Flick's infamous flagpole scene. The contrast between manufactured and genuine winter weather became one of production's best-kept secrets, with audiences never suspecting the difference. Number 3. Porky's funded this holiday film. Director Bob Clark's path to making a heartwarming Christmas film took an unexpected detour through teenage comedy. His 1981 film, Porky's, became a surprise box office phenomenon, earning over $100 million and shocking Hollywood with its success. That raunchy comedy about high school hijinks gave Clark something priceless: the ability to make any film he wanted. Studios had repeatedly rejected A Christmas Story as too quiet, too nostalgic, and lacking commercial appeal. They couldn't imagine audiences paying to watch a kid want a BB gun for 2 hours. But Porky's changed everything, proving Clark could deliver profitable entertainment and earning him the creative freedom to pursue his passion project. The irony wasn't lost on anyone involved. Money from one of the era's most adult-oriented comedies directly funded what would become a beloved family tradition. It remains one of Hollywood's strangest origin stories, where crude humor paved the way for wholesome holiday magic. Number 4. A pregnant teacher in the classroom. Miss Shields commands her classroom with stern authority, but actress Teddy Moore was managing something far more challenging than unruly students. She was 8 months pregnant during filming, just weeks away from giving birth, while portraying the no-nonsense teacher who dreams of teaching children to read and write. The production team became masters of concealment. Strategic costume choices, carefully positioned desks, and clever camera angles hid Moore's pregnancy from viewers. Directors blocked scenes to keep her behind furniture, or filmed her from specific angles that maintained the illusion of her character. Moore's composed performance takes on new meaning, knowing what she was managing off-camera. While delivering stern lectures about Ralphie's essay and maintaining classroom discipline, she was preparing for motherhood. The physical demands of filming, while heavily pregnant, never show through in her polished, professional portrayal. Number 5. A fan turned the house into a museum. The exterior shots of the Parker home were filmed at a real house in Cleveland, which fell into disrepair after production wrapped. For decades, it stood as just another old building, until 2004, when devoted fan Brian Jones discovered it was available on eBay. He made the winning bid and embarked on an ambitious restoration project. Jones didn't just buy a house, he recreated a piece of cinema history. Working from frame-by-frame film analysis, he replicated the interiors down to the smallest details. The famous staircase, the kitchen where the Bumpus hounds caused chaos, and the corner where the leg lamp glowed were all meticulously rebuilt to match the movie. Today, the Cleveland House operates as a museum and tourist destination, drawing fans from around the world. Visitors can walk through Ralphie's home, sit at the family dinner table, and stand exactly where movie magic happened. What started as one fan's obsession became a pilgrimage site for everyone who grew up with the film. Number 6. Bully sued over his own face. The yellow-eyed menace of Scut Farkus became one of cinema's most memorable bullies, but that iconic status created unexpected problems for actor Zach Ward. Decades after the film's release, Warner Brothers began selling action figures and merchandise featuring his distinctive sneering face, complete with coonskin cap and menacing grin. Ward discovered his childhood likeness was being sold without his permission or compensation. The legal battle that followed highlighted a complicated issue in entertainment law. Who owns the rights to an actor's face when they were a minor during filming? The lawsuit raised questions about consent, compensation, and how long childhood performances can be commercially exploited. The case drew attention to how fame from a single role can follow actors throughout their lives. That toy version of the neighborhood villain, designed to delight nostalgic fans, became the center of a grown-up legal dispute about image rights and fair compensation for work done decades earlier. Number 7. Gene Shepard is in the Santa line. The voice narrating Ralphie's story belongs to Gene Shepard, the author whose original stories inspired the film. But sharp-eyed viewers can spot him in person during one of the movie's most chaotic scenes. He appears as the grumpy man in the Santa line who barks at kids to keep moving along. Shepard's cameo wasn't a solo appearance. His wife also makes a brief appearance right beside him in the department store scene. These Easter eggs reward fans who recognize the distinctive voice behind the adult Ralphie's narration. The author literally stepped into his own story, becoming part of the Christmas chaos he originally created. The cameo carries special meaning because Shepard's radio storytelling made the film possible. His warm, nostalgic tales of childhood in the Midwest captured something universal about growing up. Seeing him physically present in the department store adds another layer to a film already filled with his creative DNA. Number 8. Flick's frozen tongue was a prank. The schoolyard triple dog dare scene became the film's most unforgettable moment, but filming it involved some behind-the-scenes mischief. Actor Scott Schwartz had his tongue attached to the frozen flagpole using a hidden suction tube that created the stuck effect. The setup allowed him to appear trapped while remaining safe during takes. Director Bob Clark saw an opportunity for some playful cruelty between shots. During the lunch break, he left Schwartz attached to the pole longer than expected, watching the young actor's growing concern. The panic visible on screen mixed genuine confusion with performance as Schwartz wondered when someone would finally release him. That blend of acting and authentic reaction helped make the scene feel uncomfortably real. The terror in Flick's eyes as he realizes he's actually stuck resonated with audiences because it contained traces of real distress. Clark's prank added an unscripted layer of authenticity that no amount of direction could have manufactured. Number 9. Randy moved into the movie house. Ian Petrella brought little Randy Parker to life as the bundled-up younger brother who could barely move in his snowsuit. Decades after filming wrapped, Petrella found himself drawn back to the Cleveland Museum in an unexpected way. He didn't just visit the restored Parker home, he actually moved into the upper floors. Living in the house where he once acted created a surreal connection between past and present. Petrella helped give tours to visitors, sharing stories from filming while standing in the exact rooms where those memories were made. He became a living link between the fictional Parker family and the real fans who made pilgrimages to Cleveland. The arrangement transformed the museum experience for visitors lucky enough to meet him. Imagine touring Ralphie's house and encountering the actual Randy, now grown up and living where his character once ate meatloaf and drank Ovaltine. It's the kind of meta-reality that makes the film's legacy even more magical. Number 10. Ralphie still owns that bunny suit. One of the film's most cringeworthy moments shows Ralphie forced into an embarrassing pink bunny suit by his Aunt Clara. The costume became instantly iconic, representing every awkward childhood moment when adults dressed kids in ridiculous outfits. What fans might not know is that Peter Billingsley kept that famous costume after filming ended. The pink nightmare with its droopy ears survived decades in Billingsley's personal collection. While other props and costumes scattered to various collectors or disappeared entirely, he held on to this particular piece of movie history. It represents both his breakthrough role and one of cinema's most memorable fashion disasters. That Billingsley chose to preserve such an embarrassing costume shows real affection for the character and film. The bunny suit wasn't glamorous or heroic, just humiliating in the way only childhood can be. Keeping it all these years demonstrates how deeply the experience of making this modest film affected everyone involved. Number 11. Director's cameo by the lamp. Hidden in plain sight during one of the film's funniest sequences is a cameo that most viewers miss on their first viewing, when the old man proudly displays his major award, leg lamp, in the front window. A hillbilly neighbor wanders over to admire the glowing spectacle. That neighbor is actually director Bob Clark himself. Clark's appearance fits perfectly with the film's humor about the lamp's questionable taste. He plays the role completely straight, matching the tone of bewildered fascination that the ridiculous decoration deserves. The cameo works because it never calls attention to itself, blending seamlessly into a scene already filled with absurdist comedy. This wasn't Clark's only fingerprint on the production beyond directing. His willingness to insert himself as a minor character showed his playful approach to filmmaking. Like Alfred Hitchcock's famous walk-ons, Clark's appearance became a fun detail for dedicated fans to discover and share. Number 12. Ralphie chewed real tobacco. The Cowboy Daydream sequence shows young Ralphie as Black Bart, complete with all the trappings of an Old West outlaw. To make the scene authentic, someone on set gave Peter Billingsley actual chewing tobacco to use during filming. The decision reflected a very different era of child actor safety standards. The result was predictable and unpleasant. Billingsley got sick from the tobacco, forcing production to halt while he recovered. The episode prompted a quick switch to fake substitutes that looked authentic on camera without the unfortunate side effects. What seemed like attention to detail turned into an unnecessary health risk. Looking back, the incident highlights how much film sets have changed in protecting young performers. Today's productions would never consider giving real tobacco to a child actor, no matter how authentic it might appear. The story serves as a reminder that the good old days of filmmaking weren't always safer or better. Number 13. Bully's braces didn't exist yet. Period films live or die by their attention to historical detail, but even beloved classics make mistakes. Scut Farkus's menacing grin reveals prominent metal braces that create part of his intimidating appearance. The problem? That particular style of orthodontic hardware didn't exist until the 1970s. Decades after the film's 1940 setting. The anachronism represents a dental time travel moment that slipped past filmmakers focused on bigger picture elements. While they carefully selected costumes, vehicles, and props from the correct era, Farkus's modern braces weren't caught during production. Once in the film, they became a permanent part of the character's threatening look. Trivia enthusiasts and history buffs delight in catching these kinds of period mistakes. The error doesn't diminish the film's charm. If anything, it adds to the collection of quirks that make repeated viewings rewarding. Every watch-through offers another chance to spot details that don't quite match the era. Number 14. Ralphie's first look at the lamp. Creating authentic reactions on camera often requires filmmakers to withhold information from actors. When the old man unveils his prized leg lamp, Peter Billingsley's wide-eyed wonder captured something genuinely special. That's because the production team deliberately kept the prop hidden from him until the actual take. Billingsley hadn't seen the bizarre lamp before cameras rolled. His reaction mixed the character's confusion with the actor's genuine surprise at seeing such an outlandish object for the first time. The filmmakers gambled that authentic shock would read better on camera than a rehearsed performance. The strategy paid off perfectly. That moment of stunned silence before Ralphie processes what he's seeing feels completely real because it was. Sometimes the best direction involves surprising actors rather than explaining everything in advance. The leg lamp reveal became one of the film's most memorable beats thanks to keeping one young actor in the dark. Number 15. Ralphie became a Marvel producer. Child actors often struggle to transition into adult careers, but Peter Billingsley defied those odds spectacularly. After his iconic role as Ralphie, he built an impressive Hollywood career behind the camera. His evolution from BB gun-obsessed kid to respected industry figure tells a rare success story. Billingsley's producing credits include Iron Man, where he helped launch the Marvel Cinematic Universe juggernaut. He also directed comedies like Couples Retreat and stayed connected to his roots by co-producing A Christmas Story, the musical. Each project demonstrated his understanding of entertainment from both sides of the camera. His journey from child star to powerhouse producer represents a true Hollywood evolution. While audiences remember him bundled up in winter coats dreaming of Red Ryder rifles, Billingsley was building relationships and learning the business. That red carpet at Marvel premieres led back to those cold Toronto streets where his career began. Number 16. Yes, this all started in Playboy. The wholesome family film that defines Christmas for millions has surprisingly provocative origins. Gene Shepard's original stories first appeared in Playboy magazine before being collected in his book, In God We Trust, All Others Pay Cash. The juxtaposition of adult publication and family-friendly content creates one of the film's most ironic background details. Director Bob Clark discovered Shepard's work through his popular radio show, where the author spun nostalgic tales of Midwest childhood with warmth and humor. The stories resonated because they captured universal truths about growing up, regardless of where they were first published. Clark saw past the magazine's reputation to recognize material perfect for adaptation. The film's journey from adult magazine to holiday tradition highlights how good storytelling transcends its original context. Shepard's observations about childhood desire, family dynamics, and small-town life worked equally well in Playboy or on screen. Sometimes the best family entertainment comes from unexpected sources. Number 17. The decoder message was a scam. Ralphie's triumphant moment, decoding the little orphan Annie's secret message, leads to crushing disappointment. After weeks of faithful Ovaltine consumption and careful radio listening, the decoded message reveals nothing but a boring advertisement. The scene perfectly captures childhood disillusionment when marketing replaces magic. Sharp-eyed viewers noticed another layer to the joke. The numbers Ralphie writes down don't actually match what the radio announces during the scene. This intentional mismatch adds extra absurdity to a moment already skewering commercial manipulation of children's trust and enthusiasm. The decoder scene resonates because everyone remembers believing in something that turned out hollow. Whether cereal box prizes, advertised toys, or secret club memberships, childhood is filled with moments when reality fails to match the hype. Ralphie's disgust at a crummy commercial speaks for every kid who ever felt similarly betrayed. Number 18. Dad's football talk is all wrong. The old man's passionate sports commentary adds authentic father energy to the Parker household. He shouts about trades and players with the conviction of every armchair quarterback. However, his specific references include a football trade that didn't actually happen until years after the film's 1940s setting. These subtle anachronisms are noticeable mainly to dedicated football historians who track player movements across decades. For most viewers, the old man's enthusiasm sells the authenticity regardless of factual accuracy. The mistakes blend into the background noise of a father obsessed with his team's fortunes. The slips actually enhance rather than diminish the film's vintage atmosphere. Period films often choose emotional truth over rigid historical accuracy, and these errors prove audiences care more about authentic feeling than perfect facts. The old man's passion for football feels real, even when the details don't quite align. Number 19. The furnace has a mind of its own. Continuity errors slip into even the most carefully crafted films, and eagle-eyed fans love spotting them. During the old man's battles with the temperamental basement furnace, the damper lever mysteriously flips position between cuts. One moment it points left, the next it's switched right without anyone touching it. The visual mistake becomes impossible to unsee once noticed. Fans who catch the error often share it with others, creating a community of viewers who appreciate the film's imperfections. The blooper adds unintended support to the old man's belief that the furnace possesses malevolent intelligence. These little mistakes humanize the production and remind viewers that real people made this film under tight schedules and budgets. The haunted furnace myth gains accidental credibility when even the damper lever refuses to cooperate. Sometimes continuity errors become part of a film's charm rather than flaws to criticize. Number 20. A 1940s classroom inaccuracy. Miss Shields' classroom presents a racially integrated group of students learning together. While this reflects values modern audiences expect, it represents a significant historical inaccuracy for 1940s Indiana. Schools in that era and region remained segregated, making the diverse classroom an intentional departure from period reality. The film deliberately blended different eras throughout its production. The 1939 calendar hanging in the classroom appears alongside the 1940 Little Orphan Annie decoder pin. These mixing of time periods shows the filmmakers prioritized inclusive casting and universal appeal over strict historical accuracy. This choice reveals how period films navigate the tension between authenticity and modern sensibilities. The integrated classroom allows all children to see themselves in Ralphie's world, even if it means sacrificing historical precision. Sometimes representing the world as it should have been matters more than showing it exactly as it was. Number 21. Ralphie's bullet count was off. Fantasy sequences reveal character psychology while playing by their own internal logic. During Ralphie's cowboy daydream, where he imagines defending his family, he fires his trusty rifle exactly 3 times. The problem? 4 villains dramatically fall from his expert marksmanship, creating a mathematical impossibility even in imagination. The continuity glitch in his fantasy shows how even dreams don't always follow their own rules. Fans who notice the discrepancy enjoy pointing out that Ralphie's imagination got carried away with itself. Perhaps the extra fallen villain represents how powerful he wants to feel, transcending even the limits of pretend gunfights. These minor inconsistencies in fantasy sequences often go unnoticed during normal viewing, but become treasured discoveries for dedicated fans. The error doesn't break the scene's emotional impact. If anything, it makes Ralphie's imaginative world feel more authentic, since real daydreams rarely maintain perfect internal consistency. Number 22. A Christmas Song from the Future. Music creates emotional atmosphere in film, sometimes at the expense of historical accuracy. Bing Crosby's rendition of Merry Christmas plays during key scenes, wrapping the story in nostalgic holiday warmth. However, that particular recording wasn't actually released until several years after the film's 1940 setting. The anachronism joins other deliberate timeline blending throughout the movie. Filmmakers chose emotional resonance over strict period accuracy, recognizing that the right song matters more than the right date. Crosby's voice evokes Christmas feeling that transcends any specific year. This decision reflects a larger truth about how nostalgia works. The film doesn't recreate 1940 exactly. It recreates how we imagine and remember that era. The slightly wrong details create a dreamlike quality where childhood memory matters more than historical documentation. Sometimes feeling captures truth better than facts. Number 23. Deleted scene, Flash Gordon team-up. The film's end credits include acknowledgments to Flash Gordon and Ming the Merciless, characters who never actually appear in the movie. These mysterious credits reference a planned fantasy sequence that was filmed but ultimately cut before release. The missing scene would have shown another of Ralphie's elaborate daydreams. Deleted scenes often haunt films as glimpses of what might have been. This lost sequence presumably featured Ralphie imagining himself teaming with Flash Gordon in space adventures, matching the Western and school-themed fantasies that made the final cut. The decision to remove it suggests concerns about pacing or coherence. The revelation changes how fans understand the finished product. What feels like a complete story actually had additional elements trimmed away. Those credits remain as archaeological evidence of earlier versions, reminding viewers that every film represents choices about what to include and what to leave behind. Number 24. The sequel nobody talks about. Success often invites imitation, and the film's growing popularity eventually spawned follow-up attempts. It Runs in the Family arrived in 1994, reuniting some cast members for another Shepherd-based story. Later came A Christmas Story 2 in 2012, attempting to recapture the original's magic with an entirely new cast. Both sequels failed to connect with audiences or critics. They missed the delicate balance of humor, nostalgia, and authentic emotion that made the original special. Timing played a role too. The originals worked partly because they arrived when audiences weren't expecting them, while sequels carried the burden of comparison. The failed follow-ups serve as reminders that lightning rarely strikes twice in Hollywood. Some films exist perfectly as standalone experiences, their magic too specific to replicate. The sequels exist mainly as curiosities for completists, while the 1983 original continues dominating December television schedules. Number 25. How TV Made It a Christmas Legend. Box office numbers in 1983 suggested modest success rather than cultural phenomenon. The movie earned respectable returns, but wasn't considered a major hit. Its transformation into essential holiday viewing happened gradually through an unlikely medium, cable television reruns. TBS began airing 24-hour marathons in the 1990s, programming the same film on continuous repeat throughout Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. This unusual strategy turned casual viewers into devoted fans through sheer exposure and availability. Families incorporated the marathon into their holiday traditions, leaving it playing in the background during celebrations. The marathon format worked because the film rewards repeated viewing without demanding constant attention. You could drift in and out, catching favorite scenes while cooking dinner or opening presents. Television repetition accomplished what theatrical release couldn't, transforming a forgotten film into generational touchstone. Media consumption habits, not marketing campaigns, created the legend. From fake snow made of groceries to a pregnant teacher hiding in plain sight, A Christmas Story proves that beloved classics are built on secrets and happy accidents. Bob Clark funded his wholesome Christmas film with money from a raunchy comedy, while Gene Shepard's Playboy stories became a family tradition, watched by millions every December. The magic wasn't in perfect accuracy or flawless production, but in authentic performances and universal childhood experiences, from leg lamps to frozen tongues. If you love discovering these secrets, hit like and subscribe for more deep dives into the films that shaped our childhoods. Which secret surprised you most? Or do you have a favorite behind-the-scenes story we missed? Drop your thoughts in the comments below.